Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. It is Thursday. It's Thursday Tier Talk. So if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video. As always, I'm joined by my co-host on the Thursdays, the Dazzler. How are we, Darren?
Oi, Captain. Hanging in there.
Not too bad. Well, if you could, folks, we do have an interesting show tonight. Of course, we're going to get Darren's thoughts on that miracle in Budapest on Sunday. We're going to be talking about the draw today a little bit as well, because obviously we did the watch along, which was a lot of fun as well. We're going to be giving you a Premier League preview. We're also going to be talking about one Antoine Semenyo and where he might end up. Apparently available in January for 65 million. And a couple of other pieces in there as well. We're going to be talking about Birmingham as well, getting the go-ahead for a new 62,000-seater stadium, making big moves, planning for the future. And we're going to be talking about the Champions League could be changing. No more TNT, apparently. Big changes afoot there. So we'll let you know. We'll talk about all that, of course. Of course, Premier League preview. And Darren, of course, we'll have Beat the Bookie as well. And anything else you people want to cover as well in the chat, as always. But before we begin, another one gone. What a horrific year for music this year. Gary Manny Mountfield gone. Bass guitarist with the Stone Roses, absolute icons, of course, from our 90s and growing up and how it shaped our football and everything else and all. Yeah, Lifelong Red as well, of course. I put it in there.
Do you know what's really funny? Or sorry, I shouldn't say funny. Brody had a haircut this evening. He was booked in for a haircut at 4:30. Good evening, Dino. How are you, my friend? And he was booked in for a haircut at 4:30. And we were sitting in the barber shop and somebody said, "Oh my God, Manny from the Stone Roses has just passed away." And Brody's 10, so, you know, the Stone Roses shouldn't mean a lot to him. And he had a Lakers hoodie on. And he pulled up his Lakers hoodie and he had one of the Stone Roses Man United collaborations. They did a collaboration a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember it now, yeah.
And he actually had it on today and he pulled up the thing. He was like, "These Stone Roses?" And your mom was like, "Those Stone Roses." He was looking at me as if to say, "Kid's a bit tuned in here," because he's obviously like, you know.
Yeah.
And he just said, he says, "You know, we come out to This Is the One. That's a Stone Roses tune." And your man was just looking at him, and I was like, "Nice kid, good job," you know.
Was the parent nearly getting a badge pinned on him tonight? Was it nearly getting a badge pinned on him? Yeah. Yeah, I look back at that time, that 90s for music. I mean, the Stone Roses, Pulp and Blur and Oasis and all these different bands that really shaped football, and their music featured on so many football shows, Soccer AM, and of course various other ones. And Sky Sports, of course, used a lot of these as well. And it really even the fashion and the way they looked and all really shaped the football fans on the terraces and everything and all back then and all. It was such an intertwinement, really, wasn't it, between that time?
Still does. You know, you'll still see a lot of guys in Old Trafford with, you know, quite tight-fitting jeans and gazelles and half-zip tracksuit tops, you know, the silky ones with the two-tone arms.
Parker,
you know, and the haircuts, and you're just going, these lads have gone in here. They've gone all in for these kind of guys, you know. Yeah. And listen, we all do that. We all have those people we worship and we look up at and we go, "Wow, these guys are amazing." And Manny was obviously like that for a lot of people, you know. It's crazy.
Yeah. And lots of tributes pouring in this evening as well. A lot of people talking about how he was just a down-to-earth, great guy, real approachable guy, and you could chat to him and all that kind of stuff. So it's great. It's great to hear that as well. Yeah, but I remember just that 90s for me was just an amazing time. And you think back at those songs like Phil's Gold and stuff like that, how iconic they were and then used. And then, of course, Guy Ritchie used them in the movies as well with Lock, Stock and stuff like that. That's right. As well. It was just absolutely amazing time. It really did shape how we felt about football and about society in general. you know, but absolute icon. So rest in peace, Manny, and thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to everyone in the wider music community and close friends and family, and of course, especially obviously the Manchester United community as well, for which he was so attached and stuff like that as well. So there you go. Right. Wanted to get your thoughts on this. We've spoke about it briefly, but we haven't spoke about it on camera. Me and you sending pictures of each other crying nearly on Sunday night.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now a little bit on from it and stuff like that?
It still feels a bit surreal, to be honest with you. You know, like it is our version of the miracle in Budapest. It's just you have a win like you've had against Portugal, and I suppose for me there was a little bit of a worry that was going to be the plateau, and then there was going to be the drop off. After it, Hungary's a difficult place to go. They've been such a solid team for, you know, a number of years and stuff like that, and like obviously to get the victory was amazing, but also the performance was, yeah, listen, Queevy and Kelleher made some great saves. I'm not going to go into Roy Keane as in, you know, it's his job. He made some great saves. We expect him to. He's one of the top goalkeepers in world football for me. I have so much respect for Queevy and Kelleher. I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Did a great job. But I mean, like in the second half, it got to a stage where it was like attack versus defense, you know. And I know obviously the positions in the group and stuff like that led to a bit of that where Hungary were sitting back in. They had the result. They, you know, they were 2-1 up. So a draw suits them, so to speak. They still get through, and they are receiving a lot of pressure and stuff. But I just thought Ireland just showed so much quality to break them down and stuff like that. And I thought and I know I maybe hasn't been talked about a lot. Thought when Finn Azaz dropped into the midfield, he'd obviously played a lot higher earlier on in the game. When he dropped in, it just allowed him to get on the ball, and he's just so creative. The ball in for Troy for the second goal for the equaliser. You know, the way he just gets the little sandwich out, just dinks it over the defenders. Parrott obviously evades the offside trap, and it's a phenomenal finish as well. And then it's Robbie Keane. It's that goal poacher sort of stuff at the end, isn't it? It's so reminiscent of Keane's goal against Germany, you know, where Quinn wins the header and Keane comes onto it and stuff. It was like watching it in replay. So funny. Then to see, obviously, Sunday night, Robbie Keane was in Gibney's in Malahide, not too far from here, and obviously was singing a few tunes.
Giving a loud.
And afterwards, the Ireland team, when they landed, they also joined in. The bus brought them to Malahide village, and they all got out and went into Gibney's and then followed on to a couple of other spots. But you were just like, this is, you know, this is the kind of Ireland we remember from, you know, 1990, from 94. The lads would be out in rumours, having a bit of crack with the, you know, the locals and having a few points. And like, there's something important about that. Yes, they're sports stars and they look after themselves a certain way. If you can't go and celebrate what you've just done on Sunday night, it's not worth it. You know, it's not worth it. And I saw a couple of the lads then on Monday night. They were at a gig in London as well, weren't they? Nathan Collins and a couple of the boys, and you were just like, they just deserve this. It'd be great to see them go on. And
there was a big gig down in Sheriff as well. The family were down there, Parrott's family and all were down there. One of the pubs down in Sheriff put on a big gig for them.
Right.
So that was good as well, like, you know. So because we had reached out, one of the lads had reached out to Troy's mother to come on the show and have a chat with us for a few minutes, stuff like that. But they had this pre-planned huge party down in Sheriff and stuff like that. So we understood absolutely, and that's what you should be doing, celebrate.
Absolutely.
So let's move on then. What do we think then? The draw today, we covered it on the watch along, so it was interesting the way it all unfolded, you know. Yeah, Dana was right there, going behind twice. Yeah, it was like Rocky versus Drago, wasn't it? We hit the canvas so many times.
Absolutely.
Going behind twice and fighting to the death shout, the heart and character, not seen in an order.
And that's the big part, isn't it? The last bit of what Dana said there, just showing their heart and showing that character. Like, we're never going to be the best footballers in the world, but go and fight. Go and fight for the badge. Go and fight for the jersey. Go and fight for those fans that you know would fight for you. You know, and that's
Well, we
That's what
often
you're
say,
looking
don't
for.
we, watching the international team? Sometimes you're going to lose. You're going to come up against better teams, but there's a way to lose.
Absolutely.
And that's
And I don't think that goes for just international teams. I know
mm,
myself when I'm watching United or when you're watching Liverpool,
yeah,
losing's not the issue. It's showing up, it's having heart, it's endeavour, it's work
yeah.
rate, it's, putting it all out there. If guys do that week to week, regardless of what the score is, we might not enjoy losing, but I think we can be more accepting of it when you see things like that.
Well, you're probably more accepting of where your team is at that point in time and stuff like that, rather than looking at it going, you guys could give me 30% more and there might be something in it, the whole what if situation and all, So, yeah,
Absolutely.
at least if you go out and you give 100%, you run through a wall, you did the best you did. And if you win, lose, or draw, it is what it is, What did you make of the draw specifically, us? I mean, obviously, an opportunity. We're going to go away to the Czech Republic now, which obviously would be a tough enough trip. But the opportunity of back to the Aviva then to potentially face either Denmark or North Macedonia.
I actually thought, it was unfortunate for Northern Ireland and Wales to end up in the same kind of quadrant. I don't necessarily think Northern Ireland will get past Italy.
Yeah.
But if they did, to think that they might bump into Wales then afterwards, you're kind of thinking, these are two of the teams two of the home nations we'd like to see get through.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate for the guys. But I think on our side, I think from a draw point of view, it wasn't awful. Like, you look at North Macedonia, Wales have absolutely ripped them apart the other night. Absolutely, like they've shipped 7 and they've been opened up like a can of beans. The Czechs are not the team they used to be.
Yeah.
And
shout out today to Lucas, who was in the chat,
absolutely
Czech supporter, who gave us the breakdown, which was fantastic.
Yeah, and looking at that team, I looked at it earlier on, and I looked at the last 3 or 4 games, and the guys who are coming up now and again with stuff are, Vladimir Sofal, ex-West Ham, Souček, a guy who's not really getting in at West Ham, and then the boy Patrick Schick, who I mentioned in the comments, who is a really good footballer. But other than that, there's a lot of guys who kind of float around Europe and aren't big names. Like, this isn't Poborski, Barrios, Smeeser, Berger, Nedved. It's not anything like that. I actually think the biggest danger in the quad is Denmark.
Yeah.
I kind of think we'll get through the Czechs. I think we will. They're a slightly older side. I think we bring a lot of energy, which I don't think they love. And I think we'll get through. I think the stumbling block for us could be Denmark. Now, having the game at home is a tremendous advantage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this, and I actually shared the moments before the Scotland game on my Instagram yesterday. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I shared it on my story. And you're just watching these guys. Scotland absolutely tore them asunder. Now, it was late before they managed to capitalise, but Scotland fully deserved their win.
And some phenomenal goals as well. Let's be honest.
Phenomenal. Unbelievable. Scott McTominay's bicycle kicking, Kenny McLean from the halfway line, like, unbelievable. I'm not suggesting we're going to get anything like that, but Denmark are doable. They've some good players. They've some solid players. They're a solid team, but they're not anything to be scared of. If we look at ourselves and we've gone home to Portugal and away to Hungary, I'd say both of them games are tougher games than home versus Denmark for me. Yeah. So, it's important that the boys believe that and they understand that they can add to what they've done.
Yeah, spot on, Keith. That's what we spoke about. It's in March, towards the back end of the season. It's the end of March as well. There'll be a lot of kilometres on those legs at that stage and all as well. But it's same for all teams, really, But still, I would have loved it to continue on, kind of thing, which is not something you'll hear often on this podcast in terms of international breaks.
No.
But when you have it good, you want
when you have that momentum, you don't maybe want it paused. However, I do think it's not bad for us that they can go back and reset.
Yeah.
And come back and kind of go, okay, this is what we've done. Let's not get lost in the moment. The job's not finished yet. They've
Yeah.
celebrated. They've had a few days off. They've gone back to their families. They're gone back to their clubs now to get their heads focused for the Premier League and stuff, or wherever they've gone to. And then, you know, you come back after Christmas when you're blowing out them candles on New Year's Eve. How amazing is it to think, as an Ireland player, I'm 2 games from a World Cup.
Yeah.
I am 2 games. This is in my hand.
And one of those games is in our own backyard, potentially against Denmark,
really important,
who we owe one to.
You know, so like I actually think it sets up real well, to be honest. And I think it also gives you a little bit of time for, you know, maybe 1 or 2 Danish lads to pick up injuries as well.
Yeah. It is. Well, I think if we did go again, although we're in great form, the energy and the adrenaline that was exuded in that game,
absolutely,
it'd be very hard to get it up a third time again in the space of a week or 10 days. So yeah, maybe it's the right way to go. So fingers crossed everyone comes through and they're all healthy come March, back end of March and stuff like that and all. But imagine the Aviva. And don't forget, imagine the Aviva against Denmark.
Don't forget,
take it to that, you know?
Some of our lads don't play, you know, full-time roles at their clubs. You may end up in a position where we have less miles on our legs than the Danish boys do.
Although they might now.
Listen,
the only thing.
there's certain lads that certainly put themselves out there to be seen. I obviously when I heard earlier on in the live stream that somebody was talking about Troy Parrott to Celtic, there is not a Fanny Craddock's chance that Troy Parrott decides to pack his bags and end up at Celtic. Not a chance.
Not with how he's settled in the Dutch league as well. He's absolutely flying.
Listen, I think he's going to have to step away from the Dutch league. He won't do it in January.
Yeah.
But he's just scored 5 goals in 2 international games against Portugal and Hungary, home and away. Like, it puts him on the radar for so many teams. Now, Troy Parrott's we've talked about Troy Parrott, not us personally, but as a nation, for the last 4 or 5 years, and we were waiting for this bubble to pop. And it just so happened for us, it popped at a really important time. Perfect. But Troy was spoken about as a replacement and as an heir to the throne at Spurs behind Harry Kane. Now, to even be involved in that conversation, you must be a serious, serious talent. The fact now we start to show it, you know, week to week in the league, in the Air Division, and then now internationally, this catapults him back into a move. And, you know, certainly the championship. But for me, he should be looking along the lines of, you know, the lower levels of the Premier League where he knows he'll get game time and then play against teams week to week and show them what you can do and get the next step up, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking like somewhere like a Fulham, he'd be really good, I think.
Yeah, now the only thing about the likes of a Fulham is they always play with somebody really big. You know, they've obviously Muniz and Jimenez. Hey, Del Boy and Jimenez. Arsenal are winning. Del Boy's back in the chat. You know, so huge, 2 big strikers. They don't usually play with a smaller guy. But I mean, could he do a job at somewhere like Leeds?
You do a better job than what up front's doing at Leeds at the moment, for sure.
Right?
I think me and you could nearly do that, to be honest.
You know, that's apparently been on the radar for quite a while. However, to go and get something like that done pre-playoffs would be massive. Because think of the boost that would give the squad that you've got a guy, because I got to tell you, I'm a big Dewsbury Hall fan. I really am.
And when you think about how that England squad is locked down in talent, top to bottom, doubling up the whole lot and all, like there's not
unless
a lot of opportunity there.
Unless the water boy gets injured at England, Dewsbury Hall ain't gotten a call up, God bless him. And I love the kid. I think he's a real good footballer. You know.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
good show
absolutely. Absolutely, Del. And would offer you something different than the boy Igor Thiago. Now, listen, I have to say, boy Thiago's doing phenomenal.
Not that you want to be offered something different at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's been outrageous. But yeah, 100%. There's plenty of places would look and go, do you know what? This kid will do a job here.
Yeah, somewhere where there's real good coaching that understands.
You
that
mentioned
kind of,
something a couple of minutes ago, and you obviously didn't mention it with this in mind, but it's just kind of come to mind. What about somewhere like Birmingham City with these big plans? You know, you go over to the Midlands, big Irish contingent, you pop in at St. Andrews, you're playing up front now. They've got some good footballers there, but you know, if you can take a chance the way Troy Parrott can, you can fire them to the Premier League, and in a couple of seasons, you're going to be playing in one of the top stadiums in English football as your home ground. And they've got cash on the hip. Don't forget.
Absolutely, you will. And like if this is the moves they're making in terms of that stadium, we'll talk about it later on. They're getting very serious about their football, and they're not necessarily planning for life in the Championship. That's for sure.
Absolutely not.
You think this is England's last chance with this current team to win the World Cup? I don't know. It's a young enough team. Like,
well, I think I know what he's no, but like, you know, I imagine the next time you get to a World Cup, Harry Kane, Jordan Pickford, certain guys have stepped. You know, maybe
Jordan will probably be all right, will he? Because he's a goalkeeper, so he can.
I don't know. I'd say this might be his last World Cup for me.
I think so, yeah.
And not for any particular reason. I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff. I actually heard I watched something the other day, and they spoke about Jordan Pickford, and it was on the Fozcast. You know Ben Foster.
Yes,
he does it with the Blondie lad, and he also does it with the boy Watson, Dave Watson, who is an ex-England goalkeeping coach.
Yeah,
who used to play in goal for Barnsley, and they talk about Pickford, and they had some huge opinions on Pickford, and the two boys both reckon he's the best English goalkeeper of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I'm a Jordan Pickford fan, probably more than most Liverpool fans are, you know, but I am a Pickford fan. I think over the last couple of years, you know, we watched him single-handedly keep Everton in the league. You know, he was outrageous.
Yeah.
But from an England point of view, he's always been a safe pair of hands. If you look back over the years at the major tournaments, every one of those big English goalkeepers had a howler. Rob Green, David James, David Seaman, right? They all had howlers. Jordan Pickford has never done that at a tournament for England. He's never thrown one in to cost the team going out. He's never done anything close. He has always been Mr. Consistency for England. And on that basis, that's why they said they had him. Now, at the start of the conversation, they were talking about Gordon Banks, and they went all the way down to Jordan Pickford. And Foster said, you know what? I can't see anyone better. And I was like, whoa, are we going here? Now, maybe it was a clickbait. I don't know. But it seemed fairly legitimate. And I liked part of the argument that they were putting forward for this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a strange one. Big fan of Pickford, I'd say. No.
Certainly a conversation, absolutely. But it'd be interesting to see as well. A lot of it might be to do with the coaching as well, because obviously he's played under managers at times that have been quite pragmatic, I would say. And not that he hasn't showed up and hasn't been the guy at times. He's made some phenomenal saves, no doubt about it. Keith thinks David Seaman was miles better than T-Rex Hands.
And, you know, Keith, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. Like, if we look at highlight reels here. However, if we just go by the metric that the boys used, which was Jordan Pickford has never dropped the ball at a major tournament. We've seen David Seaman do it too.
You also had the benefit of David Seaman playing with a few of his teammates in defence with him at England. You know,
he didn't play behind Harry Maguire and Dan Bourne.
You know, but who was in there at that time? Would Sol Campbell have been?
Sol Campbell, Tony Adams, Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, Lee Dixon. So like you had you had nearly your Arsenal back line in there at times playing with you as well, which makes a huge difference, you know. This ain't Tarkovsky levels and stuff, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's get into Premier League preview. We've glossed through some of them because there is some really big games here, and I did make the point. We will be doing a preview, obviously, for the Forest game against Liverpool as well. That'll go probably tomorrow. But I did make the point that now that international duty is out of the way for the next 3 to 4 months, this is move time. This is where teams start positioning themselves. Lots of games coming up. Lots of tough games coming up. Sometimes in a week, you might have even 3 games in a 7-day period. So we'll go through it anyway. Burnley versus Chelsea, the early kickoff.
I don't think the early kickoff is going to catch Chelsea out. Now I know they've quite a few lads coming from quite a distance, so that the early kickoff doesn't help them. Because if you think of the likes of Andre Santos, Moise Caicedo, Estevao, all these lads are coming back quite late in the day. So maybe if you're playing fantasy football, keep that in mind, that some of these lads may not be, starters. But I think Chelsea will just get over the line here. Burnley have only won twice this season, and the 2 teams they've beaten are the 2 other promoted teams. So I don't fancy them to change that this weekend. And I am going to go Burnley 1, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a game where they might do it, this might be it, as you said, with players returning late from international duty.
Yeah.
You know, and also Chelsea carrying a glut of injuries as well and stuff like that.
There is talk that Cole Palmer could be ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
Now,
I read tonight as well that your ex-boy Pogba is going to play for Monaco at the weekend. He's going to kick a ball for the first time in 2 years. Interesting. So I might keep an eye on that, actually. Could be interesting. But you're going 2-1 Chelsea, yeah?
I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
Do you reckon Chelsea might have a kind of an inkling in this title race somehow? Are they showing a bit of kind of stability there, a bit of form that might put them in there? Big game coming up. Obviously, they've Arsenal next week, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't see them being title challengers, but I definitely see them being, involved in that
title
disruptors.
Race. Title disruptors,
listen,
maybe.
They go and beat teams, and all of a sudden it's making life difficult. I don't think they're just where they would want to be. I don't think they're just where they want to be from a squad point of view. I think there's still a couple of positions at Chelsea, and they'd look and go, not sure, and I think they'd like to stitch a couple of them up before they then pin their mat to the flag and go, right, we're ready for this. Do you know?
Yeah. They got some players back though. Looks like Cole Palmer coming back and all.
Oh, listen, getting somebody like Cole Palmer back in is huge. Yeah, huge.
Yeah, absolutely, Dino. If there was ever a run of fixtures now where we absolutely need to do something, this is it. So we shall see. Bournemouth versus West Ham. West Ham showing little signs under Nuno at the moment of a little bit of stability.
Yeah, definitely. They've basically become what we watched from Notts Forest. Stout, resolute, great from the likes of set pieces and stuff like that. Big aerial threat, well organised, everything. It's very Nuno. It's what he did at Wolves. It's what he did at Forest. It's what they didn't like about him at Spurs.
He's very good. Darren spoke about him ages ago.
He's unbelievable then. And apparently, at the time, there was quite a few clubs that were interested. United were interested. Chelsea were interested. Barca and Real were interested. And Chelsea got the deal done really quick. And it was a little bit kind of like, oh, man, what? They've done this deal. And they did the exact same thing with the boy Giovanni Quenda from Sporting Lisbon, who they'll get next year. 2 huge shining lights. The boy Estevao, for me, I think the sky's the limit with this kid. He just lights the place up every time he touches the ball. He may be involved in a bet later on, Niall.
Oh, nice, Dino. Heading to the PSV game. I was saying that they were doing it. Did you get the deal the other day, Dino, or did you get hooked up for a ticket? Because they were doing a deal for it there the other day. I think on Champion, was it? Champion Travel had a deal for the PSV.
He might not know if someo's done it for his birthday, though.
Yeah, well,
The same.
he'll obviously know, because if he's been given it, it'd be a package.
Yeah, but I'm saying he might not know how it went down, or do you know, that kind of way.
Yeah. No, they had a good deal up there the other day. Now, when I say a good deal, still shocking, but a better deal than what they originally presented.
The packages for you lads is absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not anything on Liverpool, by the way. That's, it's laughable. It really is. And it's not fair on the supporters either. We've spoken about it before.
We're paying 3 times what the Man United packages are going for. It's insane. It's insane, like, you know.
And another team that, and I know he's in the chat, or he was in the chat, Dell. What Arsenal fans are paying is just colossal. And you're like, what am I watching here? Like, what is this? Why is this costing so much for a ticket? Like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, being on the verge of success and being in around it and stuff like that generates that kind of, it's the Ticketmaster algorithm, but just in success in football, really.
Yeah.
What did you go, Bournemouth, West Ham?
I didn't yet. I actually think West Ham might get something out of this. Bournemouth got their arses handed to them the last day against Villa. Villa beat them 4-0, and Bournemouth have just slowed down a little bit. A couple of little dips in form from some players, and all of a sudden they haven't won in a couple. I think West Ham might get something out of this, so I'm going to go 1-1.
Interesting. Brighton, Brentford.
Love what Keith Andrews is doing at Brentford. I think Brighton are such a Jekyll and Hyde team. They're a very home and away sort of team. If they're home, I fancy them. If they're away, I really don't. As they're home this week, I fancy Brighton. But I think Brentford will cause them trouble, because they cause everybody trouble. And I'm going to think Brighton will just get over the line here. And I'm going to say Brighton 3-2.
Brighton 3-2. That sounds like a good game.
Yeah.
Acers, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about it, all right. Absolutely. Fulham versus Sunderland. The Cats heading to the Cottage.
Yeah, again, off the back of a really, really good result against Arsenal. Phenomenal for Sunderland to get a result that night. And Fulham haven't been great this season. They've toiled a little bit. The goals have dried up. I don't think this is a great matchup for Fulham.
Do you know what it is with Fulham? They've looked really, really good at times and really, really busy without the output. You know what I mean? Like,
the end product is just a little bit off where he'd want it to be.
Yeah.
Joanne's gone the opposite way, 3-2 Brentford. We shall see, Joanne. We shall see.
Making the right game.
I think Sunderland might get something out of this. Now, I'm toying between the idea of them winning it or just getting the draw. Go on, I'll roll the dice. I'll go 2-1 Sunderland.
Joanne's going 3-0 Sunderland.
That's a big game.
And listen, she's had some big shouts recently and they've come true. Dino's saying, well, it's $250 for 2 tickets. Shocking after getting flights and hotel for the night, but not going to get any cheaper. Just pray for a win. The win softens the blow of prices, kind of. Absolutely, 100%. Sure. 250 is not, I'm not going to say it's not bad for 2 tickets.
I don't think 250 is bad for 2 tickets, as in if you're getting them for 125 each. If you're paying 250 each for 2 tickets at 5 brick, I think
I read Champion had knocked it down to 220 or something like that. I'm not too sure. You could check it later.
For the trip.
For the trip, which isn't bad. I think it's a one-nighter.
Yeah, and that's your boat and whatever.
Yeah.
Not always great this time of year, the boat.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Big job for Slot coming up. Needs to bounce back after a poor Man City showing. But not only that,
really does.
Two players with their chins on the ground after that Hungarian game as well. One Dom and obviously Milos Kerkez as well. So what do you think here?
Just to touch on Dominic first, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was excellent. Everything that was good about what Hungary did, it was him. He was phenomenal.
Which has been now for a while.
Yeah. Listen, he's the captain. He had the armband on, but he did lead the way he would want. And if there was anyone I looked at on that pitch and thought, I feel sorry for him, it was Szoboszlai. I looked and I went, oh, man. He's put absolutely everything into this.
I was talking to a Hungarian supporter and he was telling me when you're over in Hungary, he is everywhere. He's on
he's
every
Ronaldo.
billboard,
He's there. Yeah,
every
that's right.
ad, everything. He is their guy, like,
Yeah,
so
and
the pressure must be huge,
he put a serious shift in. He really did. I thought and the one thing I'm going to talk about just very quickly is, and I don't know whether you've seen any of the interviews with Andy Robertson after the Scotland
100%.
the games, and we've talked about this for weeks, and I've been like, this is the elephant that's sitting in this dressing room, and when I seen it straight away, I went, these lads haven't got a hope at the minute. Like, if you look at one player in isolation, to have that kind of emotion and to be wrapped in that's real tough. But if you think of a whole changing room to feel like that.
But when you hear them talking about during the day, I couldn't even leave me room. This is how it's affecting them. You know what I mean?
And this like, I'm not shocked at this.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
This is the equivalent of losing a family member to a tragedy like that. This is massive.
Oh, it is, because don't forget, these lads spend so much time at the training ground. These lads in those changing rooms are your family. Yes, you go home to your wife and your kids and whatever, but when you sit in that changing room, you are absolutely sitting next to your number ones, your family, the guys that back you up week to week on the pitch and whatever. So tough for them. I actually feel very sorry for Slot. Because I think after what happened last year, the club to go and back him the way they did and say, listen, you've done a great job, we're going to give you all this money to spend. I think he would have thought, oh my God, this is amazing. I have a possibility of building some sort of dynasty here at Liverpool. If we can keep the wheels in motion and stuff. And then you get this pipe bomb from nowhere, and it's just so difficult to deal with. Like, when I watched Robertson, it was the first thing I thought about. I was like, this is absolutely part of what's going on here. And maybe I spoke to someone the other day about this, and it was somebody that comes for lessons, and I says her father passed away, and I said, how's the family doing? And she's, oh, they're hanging in there, she's, it'll get tough coming towards Christmas and whatever. And like, as somebody who's lost my father, I said to her, listen, the first year is the hardest. I said, that first year of, he's not here for your birthday, he's not here for Christmas, you can't pick up the phone. If you can get through that year, it's going to be tough. But if you get through that year, it kind of starts to ease a little bit. Now listen, it never goes away, but it starts to ease. And I kind of feel like Liverpool might be having that kind of a season where they just have to go through the motions, and they'll have highs and they'll have lows. But when you get to the summertime, it'll be a reset and it'll be okay. We go again,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely, Dino. Just broke from like the way he held it together, and he barely held it together now.
He did.
Fair play to him. And look, I was delighted that they got through as well, because I have to say that what they've done up there is absolutely phenomenal, and they have a really good team as well, and not dissimilar to ourselves, supporter-wise and all and stuff. So yeah, fair play.
Do you know what? I tell you what, they've a real decent team.
Absolutely,
they have a real decent team.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at some of the guys in there, obviously McTominay is just playing out of his Nikes at this stage.
But as we spoke about earlier, heart and desire and willing to work.
But there's lots of good players there. I spoke about the boy Lewis Ferguson before, the boy that plays at Bologna. He got an assist the other night. He's a super little footballer. Kenny McLean, come on. You got the big lad Dykes landing elbows on everyone's heads, backs to the wall type thing. It was super. It really was. Delighted for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, look, I'm going to do a show on that, actually. I'm going to be talking about Joshua versus Jake Paul on a show in the next week or so.
I think Dice makes this real tough, but I think Liverpool get over the line.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely, Dean. I've forgotten about Jota a few times this season. It's not necessarily that you forget. It's in the background there, and then something triggers it into the foreground. You talk about a lot of stuff, and, there's stuff on the 20.
And don't forget, we don't sit in that dressing room and look at that peg every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know who sits at the peg, but he's the most hated fucker in the room, God bless him. And he's probably never stepped a foot out of line, because you're the guy sitting in the place of the lad that should be here. And that's real tough. The sense of injustice, you know, a guy at his age, that's tough.
And no shade on the guy who's sitting in it.
Absolutely
He's
none.
tried to carry
It could be that
well,
he's right. And again, I think he's probably going, I need to get through this season to just breathe again, you know.
We shall see. I'm not too sure about that. Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Ryan was in the chat the other night, actually, on Monday. Good to see him back and stuff like that.
Good,
as well.
good. We missed him, our pal Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure whether Rob Edwards will have. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I don't know whether Rob Edwards will have the desired effect this quickly. I think he's a real nice appointment by Wolves. But I don't know whether it'll be quick enough for Palace. And we know Palace will be well organised. I saw Jeremy Pino got a goal for Spain over the international break as well. So he's now getting international recognition alongside Sarr. If you look, and I saw this earlier, they've now not replaced, but they've shuffled the pack, and they've now lost Wilfred Zaha, Michael Elise, and Eberechi Eze. Right? And they're still rolling.
Yeah.
They still have the ball rolling. They bought obviously Ismail Assar, they got the boy Pino, and they got the boy, the Samuel Uche, Christian Uche as well. And just managed to keep it going. Really, really clever. Good recruitment from Palace. I think Palace get over the line here. I'm going to say Palace 2-1.
Yeah, I was looking at a list today of the top 5 European leagues, actually, and it gave the top 10. Is it Jules 1 or tackles or something like that? Number 1 is Joe Polina of Tottenham. But I think number 6, was our boy on the wing there, Tarek Mitchell. He was in the list. There was only 3 Premier League players in it. There was Tarek Mitchell, Joe Polina, and then there was a guy from Burnley. The lad from Burnley, I think, can't remember. But they were the only 3 out of the Premier League. There was no one else.
And I'm a huge fan of the boy on the opposite side, Daniel Munoz.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Absolute workhorse. He's up and down that line. You know, he's super. Really, really good. Dropped a bit of a clanger over the international break. I don't know whether you seen it or not, did you?
No, I didn't.
He dropped a bit of a clanger. They were talking in one of the interviews, and he gave it the whole, you know, it's a dream to play for a big, big club like Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Manchester United.
Interesting.
I would say it won't land overly softly with the Palace fans, but we shall see.
There's a lot of that going on at Palace at the moment. Half the squad is in that world at the minute.
He was certainly showing his drawers, I can tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Come get me. Wolves versus Palace, what are you going for?
I'm going 2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. And then rounded out the evening one, Newcastle versus Man City.
It's a nice way to finish off your Saturday, isn't it?
It's a big game for Eddie Howe, isn't it?
It is a big game for Eddie Howe. They've lost the last 2, don't forget.
Lots of questions going on.
Lots of questions. You know, listen, here's the thing. I think anyone can lose at home against Brentford, because I think Brentford on their day have the ability to really turn it on against most teams. Losing the previous day out at West Ham will be a bit of a sickener. Now it's 2 away games on the road in London. There's a lot of travel for those Newcastle boys, but you'd have had to think they'd have picked up points there. I do think, and you know, I say this every year, I think some teams just aren't equipped to deal with European football. And I think Newcastle are one of those teams. I think the squad's not big enough, you know. They've got some fabulous players, but they don't necessarily have the kind of depth that they would need to play Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Once you step out of that starting 11, you have a lot of questions there, all right?
Absolutely.
Especially for that level of games.
100%. I can't see past City, which is unfortunate for Newcastle because it's gone a main 3 on the bounce. But the boy Haaland has just been in phenomenal form, and I don't see that stopping.
You're also looking at City. Are they going to close the gap to 1 point then, is it? If they win against Arsenal.
Yeah, well, it's possible they're not playing till. That's right, yeah. Is it 1 or 2?
It'd be 1. I think there's 4 is the gap at the moment, is it?
I thought it was 5, but I could be wrong.
I thought it was 4. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was 4. Maybe I have a...
That's 4. You're right.
Yeah, it was 6, wasn't it? Yeah, and City beat us and Arsenal drew. So yeah, so that gap would be down 1 point. That heaps a little bit more.
I was going to
pressure
say, does that not even make that a bigger game for City, that they need to get this pressure on as early as possible to let Arsenal know that they're there? That probably makes it more
there.
difficult for Newcastle.
I think with the Arsenal reaction at the moment to some of the injuries that have happened and all, especially Gabriel and all, I think that pressure's there already. I think they know. And I would be a little bit concerned that if City over the next 2 games, because remember, Arsenal's next game is obviously the North London derby. Then after that, then potentially it's Chelsea. They've Bayern during the week in the Champions League, and then Chelsea. So if they were to drop points in those 2 games and City were to win both their games and nudge a little bit ahead, I wonder would Arsenal have the mentality to go in there again and do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Be interesting.
I'm gonna go City 3-1.
Yeah, it's hard to back against Haaland at the moment, isn't he? He's a monster.
Yeah,
monster.
absolutely.
Leeds versus Aston Villa. Big game for Leeds here. Big game for Leeds.
Big game. I don't think they're getting that out of it, if I'm honest. Big game. I just think Villa are starting to pour a little bit. And a couple of lads got game time over the international break. I think they'll come back, and I think they'll beat Leeds. Now, listen, Leeds isn't an easy place to go. We know that. Leeds will make it tough. They'll be resolute. I think there's a lack of quality.
There's no goals.
There's a lack of quality in that Leeds team.
Yeah.
We look at, if you just look in isolation at Leeds and Sunderland, the lack of ambition from Red Bull in comparison to the ambition shown by the boy Dreyfus up at Newcastle or up at Sunderland is just, it's night and day, really.
Paul was telling me they're a bit hamstrung at the moment because of the money they spent. Remember, in the season they went down,
right?
So that has to filter out this year. So next year they'll be able to spend. This year they weren't able because they blew the bag. Remember that?
You know the only problem with that. It's too late and you're back in the championship.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Yeah, but I mean, if you're hamstrung by,
PSR absolutely,
FFP,
100%, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I mean that's why they were looking at the likes of Cavani.
Now, they've got some good, honest pros. There's a couple of lads week to week putting shifts in. The boy Ethan Ampadu puts a shift in every week. Sean Longstaff, Calvert-Lewin as well. They're all putting shifts in.
It's just a lack of quality.
It's just a lack of quality. They're just not good enough. God bless them. You can't.
There's no lack of effort. How are you feeling about Daniel Farke? Obviously, there was huge questions at the start of the season and stuff like that. What are you thinking now? Are you kind of feeling it? Like, I know he obviously wasn't given money in the summer and stuff like that and all, and there's obviously a waiting game there, and some of it's PSR, some of it maybe Leeds maybe wanted to stick till January and see how this played out. Obviously, with the history of Norwich and stuff like that and all. And are they getting close to maybe a change needs to be made, or is that, I don't want to throw shade on Daniel Farke. I know
but look, if you look at them, right,
they're real close.
They're West Ham and Forest, we know are what we would describe as improving under Nuno and Sean Dyche, which leaves Wolves rock bottom, Burnley on 10, Leeds on 11. Yeah. I'd be shocked if it's not them three to go down. Wolves, Burnley and Leeds. I think West Ham and Forest, with the 2 boys in charge, will know how to do and how to get through a dogfight. I think Leeds are going to struggle. And even if you look at their next couple of games, they could be in that bottom 3 fairly quickly. Their next 3 games, Leeds, they've got Aston Villa at home. They go away to the Etihad. They've got Chelsea at home, and then they've got Liverpool at home. There's nothing
in that.
There's nothing in any of them. And if all of a sudden they're now, they're 11 points, 11 games, right? There's a genuine possibility they're going to be 15 games, 11 points. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Farke, who's been relatively comfortable so far, is packing brown boxes.
But I mean, even if you bring someone else in, and if you have no money for January or you can't spend,
you've got to have.
Unless you're very good in your scouting, you get a few loan deals or something.
You've got to have listen, they are part of that Red Bull network, don't forget.
Mm.
So unless they're going to go to Leipzig, or unless they're going to go to Salzburg, or to the MLS, to the boys in the MLS, and start taking the best of what they have, maybe they will. Maybe there's loan deals on the tables and they'll filter a couple of players through. But if Leeds don't get 2 to 4 players in January, doesn't really matter who they bring in.
Yeah,
they're not staying up.
That's the point. Yeah, and Red Bull should be as aware of this as anyone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're looking for the outside.
Now I think obviously Red Bull coming in quite late in the day doesn't make it. It makes it more of a project than a quick fix. Do I believe they'd be happy to go down with Daniel Farke and get him to come back up? I
don't think so. Would you?
I wouldn't have thought so. No. But I wouldn't have thought so.
I wouldn't have thought Red Bull would be coming in with designs of going back to the championship anyway. That championship is a war zone.
War zone for everybody.
You can parachute whoever you want from Salzburg and Leipzig and all. That's a war zone.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It's the toughest league in Europe.
Yeah. Were you shocked that I meant to ask you during the Wolves game? Were you shocked that Rob Edwards moving from Borough with the job he was doing there?
Yes.
You were
in a word, yes. Done a great job at Forest Green. Done a great job doing a great job at Middlesbrough. Was I shocked that he ended up at Wolves? Yes, because I think Middlesbrough were probably in the shake-up to come up.
Yeah.
Now, I know they're outside of the zone at the minute, but I think over the course of the season, he'd have been pretty hopeful of getting them. They're second at the minute, So, I thought they were third, but they were second, so they're inside the automatic zones. You're looking at the money that Steve Gibson will undoubtedly give him in the summer to spend. To take that Wolves job is...
And they're playing really good football.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Now, maybe... I don't know, maybe money talks.
Yeah, because the only thing I look at Wolves, and if Wolves go down, I think if Wolves go down, we may not see them for a while again.
Now, the only thing I'm going to say at Wolves, right, and you won't thank me for this, I'm a big fan of quite a few players at Wolves. There's quite a few boys, and I go, he could do a job. He could do a job. He could,
But they're gonna parachute out. They ain't hanging around.
Well, listen, it's unlikely they're gonna hang around.
Yeah.
And one of them may end up parachuting in January if the rumors are to be believed.
Yeah.
About the boy João Gomez. One of the boys I was gonna mention. I'm a massive fan, and I've mentioned him 3 or 4 times. The boy Marshall Minetzi that plays for these is a very good player. Yeah. Jorgen Strand Larsen. A very, very good player. He's
who isn't having a great season, but we know how good he is.
He's had quite a few injuries in his defense.
We know how good he is.
The boy Hwang Hee-chan has been good when he's been fit. Again, injured. John Richter Bellegarde, very good. There's players here. The boy Sam Johnson, Jose Sa, 2 good goalkeepers. It's not a bad squad. It's not a bad squad. But
what's been the issue? What's the issue? Injuries, is it? Trying to get your best players on the pitch together.
No, I don't even think injuries has been the issue, if I'm honest. We can make it real simple. They concede too many and they don't score enough. Do they concede way too many. They really do. They've shipped 3 goals.
Within 20, 25 minutes of a game, they're chasing the game as much as they can. They're already on the back foot, aren't they, really? 2-0 down or whatever it is, In
their last 4 games, they lose 3-0 to Chelsea. They lose 3-0 to Fulham. They lose 4-3 to Chelsea in the EFL Cup. And they lose 3-2 to Burnley. And then they lose 2-0 to Sunderland. They're shipping goals.
And the funny thing as well, in a lot of those games as well, they played okay.
They absolutely have.
They played well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it now. Maybe just that whole confidence thing and just feeling sorry for yourself and going, how the hell we find ourselves here when
Yeah.
we've actually played. There's a couple of games there where they coughed up a late goal, or they were in a draw position for a point and they coughed it up. And,
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are you going with Leeds and Villa? Villa?
Yeah, I'll go Villa 3-1.
Yeah. Arsenal versus Spurs, North London derby. Gabriel out potentially for 2 months.
I don't think it's going to affect them massively. And we spoke about this. I think what they have going on at the back there, as good as it is with the first four, as good as it is with Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Calafiori, I think some of the boys behind that haven't been getting game time, your Ben White, your Hincapié, your Mascara, when they've played, they've been phenomenal. So I think a lot of them lads are going to get in and just fit in to what's, the Lewis Skelly as well. And that's a serious 8 as defenders. Meaning if you do lose 1 or 2, you've got something to, so let's say this weekend, if Timber and Gabriel are out, you play Ben White and you probably play the boy Mascara. So you go Ben White, Mascara, Saliba, and Calafiori.
I suppose the fear of looking at this probably for Arsenal fans, and this is going to show actually how good Arteta is as a manager, because you've got obviously Spurs, then you've got Bayern Munich, and then you've got Chelsea. So the question is, they're flying in the Champions League, which nearly makes somewhat the Bayern Munich game, the game to maybe rotate and be really careful.
Absolutely.
That the 6 points from Spurs and Chelsea is how you lay down a marker.
100%.
Because you're not going to drop out of the top 8 in the Champions League with how you've started and stuff like that.
No. And listen, here's the thing. As you said, straight after the international break, the boys are all coming back. There's a lot of travel in that team as well, right? You've got some Brazilians and you've got some Africans and stuff. So there is a little bit of that, right? But when you come back, you get your 3 points on the board at Spurs. You look at possibly rotating the whole back four, where you go White and Lewis Skelly, Hincapié and Mascara against Bayern. Give them all game time.
Yeah.
Swap out Kepa with Raya if you want. Put in Odegaard, put in Marino, Trossard, Martinelli. Give everyone a little breather. Get everyone ready for Chelsea. Pick up another 3 points. Keep it moving. You still get your top 8 in Champions League, but keep picking up points in the league. Because I don't necessarily believe that Arsenal are best placed to win a Champions League. However, I do think this is their year to win a Premier League.
Well, see, when I was looking at it, I was thinking as well, is if you roll the dice and you go strong at that Bayern Munich game, because we know Arteta sometimes can be that guy.
Yeah,
I was thinking, what happens then if you lose a Declan Rice and you lose a William Saliba, and then you're really in trouble? And then what happens that next weekend if Chelsea beat you and Man City go top?
And also, if you go, here's the other thing. I don't know if you've seen any of Bayern Munich's form recently. They are flying. Yeah. Shout out to my boy Vincent Kompany. Remember, people thought he'd be sacked by Christmas? I didn't. And he is phenomenal. Listen, I'm going to tell you now, Vincent Kompany is the Manchester City manager in waiting. He's in the waiting room. When Pep Guardiola steps out, in walks big Vincent Kompany.
He has a great squad to work with as well.
He does, but don't forget, we've seen guys.
I know you still have to do it.
We've seen guys go in at PSG with great squads and done absolutely.
When you we've seen guys come in, though, it's just
that some of their recruitment's been excellent. Like they went in and got 2 of the best in class in Michael Elise and Luis Diaz. Right, they got Harry Kane. Now as a front 3, they are potent. The boy Elise, for me, is probably, he's getting into that Ballon d'Or conversation soon. He's that good. He really is.
He has it all, doesn't he?
He has absolutely everything. And he's another guy, and I don't like mentioning this, I'm lying, I fucking love it. He's another guy, was at Chelsea, and they shat on him, and he didn't get game time, just like Salah, just like De Bruyne, and he's left the bridge and he's become bigger than he could have ever become at Chelsea. But Chelsea do this so often, it's scary. Another guy that they had there.
Yeah. And he's generally always fit as well.
He's unbelievable.
As well. Yeah, absolutely.
He's unbelievable.
Is he getting a big move back to the Prem next summer?
I think you would need serious money. I think you have a much better chance of somebody like a PSG trying to blow big wedge on them. You know, but even if you look at PSG, when they've got Kvaratskhelia and they've got Doué and they've got Dembele, do they need a Michael Elise? I don't know.
He'll want to go into a team there and be, if not the guy, just a step down from the guy.
I think if he go, I think no matter where he goes next,
Yeah.
he wants to be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, are you? Is he the Mohamed Salah replacement?
A lot of talk of that at the moment.
My only fear is you probably have to break your own British transfer record to get him.
I'm not too sure, because I was looking at some of the prices being thrown around during last week and stuff like that, and I was thinking, go get him now at that price. My God, do the deal.
No.
I don't think
he's still so young as well, you know.
Yeah,
and like, don't forget, as much as we're big Premier League fans, Bayern are a big club.
100%.
Bayern are a big club. Like, you're not cherry picking players from Bayern too often.
No.
If you look at, and here's what I will say, if you look at two of the players to kind of leave Bayern in recent years and do okay, the two boys that came to us, they weren't getting a look in at Bayern, by the way.
Yeah.
They weren't. So that'll tell you the level you've got to be at to be involved in the conversation. De Ligt and Mazraoui were, you know, bit part players. They've been great players for us. De Ligt especially, I think he's been phenomenal. Yeah. But they weren't getting game time at Bayern Munich.
I think there was issues there as well, wasn't it? It wasn't based on talent, that's for sure.
No, but you know, they still weren't, especially with names on the team sheets every week, you know.
Yeah. I think with the Ligt there was there was other issues there, wasn't it? It definitely wasn't based on talent, that's for sure.
There was I saw he got a call up for the Dutch national team. Did you see that? And played the whole game the other night against Lithuania. They won 4-0. But it was nice to see him get the spot after being dropped from the previous one, you know. And it's all right, hang on, you're doing better. And Sene Lamens obviously made his Belgian debut as well. So,
well, that's what we expect, you know.
The upturn in form, you know.
Merit has to be a big thing.
I'm going Arsenal 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Interesting. That'd be a big win, especially on the. And I'm not saying it's not a big win, because normally we know with Arsenal, especially at the Emirates and stuff like that, like they have a good record. But this certainly will be interesting. You know, this will be one of 3 games where we see what Arteta's about. And then we're going to Monday night. Then we have the 8:00 Man United hosting Everton at Old Trafford.
I love Monday night football. I love it. I think you know that, don't you? I love football under lights. There's just something magical. Now, obviously, the only thing that this game is missing is the kids in the middle of the pitch shaking the football and the Champions League music. Like, but this is close as we'll get for now. Everton aren't amazing away from home. They're very, very good at that Hill Dickinson, but they're not phenomenal away from home. And at home, we've been quite good. So I think we've enough to kind of get us over the line here. Everton have only got 4 points away from home, and we have 12 from 15, 4 wins and the 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. I don't see that changing. I think we'll get over the line. I think Everton will score because they've got a bit going forward. The boy Lemon and Dye, you know, Jack Grealish and stuff like that. Probably the boy Beto and whatever. But I think we've enough to get 2 or 3. So I'm going to go United 3-1.
Cool. Right. What do I want to go into now? We want to have a quick chat about this guy. He's been all the talk of the international break, potentially available in January for 65 million. Talk that it could happen. Goes down a little bit come the summer. Where do you think these are some of the destinations he's been linked with? Where do you think he best suits? Where would you see if you look at them? I mean, what do you think? Could you see Arsenal with what they have there already?
Possibly. Especially if we look at like a Trossard and a Martinelli. If you're going to phase one of them out, Semenyo's a great boy. Like, are you going into a game, right, where you've got, this is scary, by the way. Are you going into a game where you've got a Zubamendi as your 6, a Declan Rice as your 8, with an Eberechi Eze as your 10, flanked by Saka and Semenyo and a Gyökeres up front.
Yeah.
That's scary. That is absolutely scary, I have to tell you.
The only thing about it is Arsenal.
I'm not sure if any team in the league matches up with them 6.
Yeah, the only thing is Arsenal tend not to do what needs to be done in January to get the job done. That's the only.
If there was, and Arsenal spent a lot of money in the summer, by the way. You know, it went ever so slightly under the radar because you boys were backing the truck up. But Arsenal spent money in the summer. You know, weren't able to make the Pierre Hincapié deal a permanent deal because they hadn't got the finances to do it. Had to make it a loan with a view to and blah, blah, and whatever. So that'll be looked at come the end of the season. But I think Arsenal will be a great fit for him. I think he'd light the Emirates up. If I was him, no disrespect to Spurs, if I was Antoine Semenyo and those 4 teams, and Manchester City have been mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking at Spurs. As much as it means I'm fucking nailed on to play 38 games a season, I ain't looking at Spurs if United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and City are coming looking for me.
I think he's 26 as well, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's just coming into the prime.
Yeah,
but just hitting his prime.
He's got that 4 or 5 years there to cement his legacy and his career. You know what I mean? Where Spurs still kind of feels, even though they've spent some money and signed so many players, they still feel like a project club at times, don't they?
Yeah, they absolutely do. Yeah. I would hate to see him come to United and end up playing left wing back.
You would hate that.
I don't think it'd be right for the young fella. Do you know?
The boys on one of the other channels were talking about his heat map this season, and a lot of his heat map has shown him in that left wing back role.
Absolutely. I just don't like pinning him to it and saying, okay, you now have to do as much this way as you do that way. If it came to a situation where, okay, we're going to push Cunha to play as the 9 and Mbeumo plays as the right side of 10, do I want this lad to play at the left side of 10, knowing that he's right and left footed and can go either side? Absolutely. And I think that would work perfectly for us. However, I do not want to see him destroy his career going into play left wing back at Man United, because I just don't think
he's so much more.
I think he has more than that.
Yeah. Could you see him? We spoke about Elise earlier. Could you see him being the switch to the right for Salah?
He's played so much on the right hand side for them,
and so played really well.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a stretch. You know, even when he does score them goals on the left hand side, he's doing a lot of the work with the left foot, and then he's checking onto the right to pull the trigger. His dribbling on his left side is phenomenal. Absolutely. Or you could see him as some sort of a ballast where he operates on the opposite side to Salah. Because we know when Liverpool play against certain teams, they can leave themselves more exposed on Liverpool's left, knowing Liverpool don't have the artillery. Now, I think Gakpo's done a reasonable job. I think Vert hasn't. So I think, you know, if I'm Liverpool, do I want a Semenyo who all of a sudden drags that centre back further back across, and then I can balance things out with, where Salah gets a little more freedom as well.
Who's also had that phenomenal relationship with Kerkez at Bournemouth.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so now, maybe that's the signing on the left side that unlocks Kerkez.
Your only worry there is, well, you know, last season he did play very, very much on that right hand side, so he didn't play on the same side as Kerkez. Yeah. He's played a little more on the left hand side this season. He didn't do it as much last season. But the one thing I would say, he's another AFCON boy.
Yeah.
So, you know, he is signing Antoine Semenyo, and then all of a sudden, every time you get to an AFCON window, you're losing 2 of your big boys. That's
that won't be for much longer anyway. I wouldn't have thought.
No, well, listen, I think Mo is probably this is probably his last AFCON at Liverpool. Would you reckon?
I would have thought so.
Yeah,
absolutely. We shall say anyway. We spoke about this earlier as well, and we wanted to talk about Brighton pushing ahead with this fantastic. They released images
Birmingham.
of the stadium today, or Birmingham, sorry, not Brighton, Birmingham. Looks phenomenal there when you look at it. Obviously, that's a put together and stuff like that, but it looks phenomenal, doesn't it? This is what's your general thinking? This is building for a much bigger future for Birmingham City, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we talk about ambition all the time. This is what you want to see.
Yeah.
Like, I did hear somebody earlier say, "Why are you building a 62-seater 1,000 stadium or 1,000 stadium?" Excuse me. And apologies to our listeners there. Why are you building such a big stadium? And you're like, well, if we go to the Premier League and we bring the players we want to bring, this is what we're going to need. There's no point in us building 45.
And there shouldn't be a problem filling it.
There absolutely shouldn't.
Because you go and build 45, and the way football's going at the moment, you're going to have to bang the other 20 on eventually anyway.
So go in with the 62 and listen, there's been enough empty seats at Manchester City for a long time. Yeah. You'll get away with it in the early stages. Don't worry. Until you get to the point you want to be at, and then you'll the fans will land.
At times, it's obviously been the Achilles heel for someone like Chelsea, who are so the Stamford Bridge, as great as it is, and the history and all, but they just can't put in that 60,000-70,000. So that's been their problem at times, in terms of competing on the revenue side of things. That's where you get into selling
hotels
and all sorts of stuff. Right, quickly get into this because we want to do your bets as well and stuff like that. But this news came out today that apparently Paramount have outbid TNT for the rights to the Champions League, and that Amazon Prime are taking up the option for, the first pick on the Tuesday night that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it's going to be laid out going forward by the looks of things, that we're going to have Paramount taking up most of the games, if not all of them.
Am I right in saying we have Paramount on our terrestrial Virgin Media box?
You should do, yeah. You have Paramount and Paramount Plus and all. And stuff
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Listen, it won't be a problem for us anyway.
Absolutely, but
Yeah, absolutely. But what do you make of this? Apparently TNT went in with a 1 billion bid. And apparently Paramount went in and blew the bid out of the water. Was this TNT thinking they were kind of maybe the only show in town and maybe low-balled it a little bit, even though we're talking £1 billion here,
I'm still shocked we're at TV rights. I don't understand how we haven't gotten to clubs themselves putting, their own licensing together and streaming games. And
it's nearly like pay-per-view.
Well, you're $14.99 a month. You get MUTV, you get all the home games, and then we reciprocate with Brighton when we go away, and they show us their game, and we show them their game, and everyone's a winner.
I think the issue there is like what's happened with ESPN and ESPN Plus, that you get you see what happened with the kickback in America with the wrestling fans and stuff. So you subscribe to ESPN, but then if you want the pay-per-views then for WWE or the PLEs, you have to subscribe to ESPN Plus on top of ESPN in order to get those pay-per-views.
That. Listen,
it's a cultural thing as well, but it's a bit of a kicker. I feel like you're paying twice,
And we're probably not miles away from Netflix being in a conversation for this either, I wouldn't imagine.
They're making huge moves in sport, aren't they, at the moment?
Absolutely.
Jake Paul and stuff and all, and other stuff.
100%.
And so many documentaries as well and stuff. So I just wanted to get your thoughts. It'll feel weird not being on TNT, that's for sure.
Well, listen, Champions League for me has always been ITV.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of that. Where that was always where we watched. You were on ITV with Clive Tilsley, and it was wow. And plus, if you want me to be really blasé about it, I'm not in the Champions League, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but you probably have designs on hopefully getting back in there this year with a bit of luck.
We'll be back. Come on,
I thought I'd round it out with this. I thought a good old Amo. It's 20-year anniversary from when he dropped the old Rod Little. He's the guy who left his wife and ran off with a young one, remember?
Yeah.
That's 20-year anniversary this year, which I think is insane when you look back on it. But also, remember he dropped about Ronaldo being a disgrace and all that.
He's a cod.
And it was interesting the way it cropped up again last week and stuff, how it rang true in that moment kind of thing. Obviously, he's been a phenomenal player and stuff like that. And then he came out and he said he owed the dentist an apology and all. He has given us a night we will never forget and stuff. stuff like that, which is kind of nice there. I don't know. Did you see the video of Hamer in the dressing room after the match giving the speech?
I did.
What did you think?
I was very much impressed.
Yeah, very impressive.
Very cool, calm, collected, but also for a guy who seems extremely vanilla. I'm looking at this guy going, this lad might inspire me a little bit.
Yeah.
I might just want to run through that brick wall.
There's a little bit of bastard in him, isn't there, really, that we didn't think was there. Yeah. That bit where he was saying, don't waste your time with these people who didn't support you and stuff, It's those people out there in the stand. They're the people in uniform and all,
I hate doing this. Is this where we have to give the FAI a little bit of credit for their appointment?
Well, do you know something? I do think sometimes like that, but I also think that he was probably a flick of a boot away from getting his P45 as well. And I think moments change things. When you think about that try-para third goal going in, that could be the difference between him getting the bullet or the Hungarian manager getting the bullet. It's a very fine line.
I didn't believe he was going to be given a new deal. But initially, when the FAI gave him the job, we all scoffed.
Well, we kind of knew. We knew that the constraints that were in there, the financial constraints that drive some of these decisions.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like we were never going out and getting a Tuchel or whoever else is out there or available at that kind of value.
No.
But we have to give props when props are due and stuff like that. And listen, we might go through these playoffs and then we might be looking back on, this is the one moment we got good luck kind of thing, So we'll see.
I'd hate to give the FAI any props if we didn't have to.
Well, we don't have to. We don't have to. You know what I mean? The fact that in 1993 we were ranked 6th and the fact that in 2025 we were ranked 67th is the indictment that I play on the FAI. And that's as much as I'm willing to say on screen. But there you go. But I thought I'd put it out there. Obviously, Amo is an institution, really, isn't he? And stuff like that. And also, thought we put it out there. 20 years since Rod Little and all those T-shirts and all that came out. Some amazing stuff he's put on telly. I really miss that trio of him, Brady, and Giles with Big Bill.
I have to tell you probably won't like this, but I absolutely hate him.
Yeah, and I get, I get, and I get that, and that's all right. And you know something? If you bumped into him, he'd probably appreciate that because, he's the consummate heel.
Maybe, and I'm all right with that, but I'm not a fan.
Dare I say? Could we say he's the Razor Ramon of football punditry? He's the bad guy,
He's definitely not getting mentioned in that sort of company. Let's be honest here.
He will in time, don't worry. Right, give us your bets.
Right. I'll tell you what I've done. I've just done 2 little cheeky ones.
Perfect.
To score or assist, anytime accumulator.
Yeah.
I've got 4 players for you.
Okay.
And it's 20 to 1.
Nice.
It's just a nice little tidy one. I don't believe Estevao will start against Burnley. I think he'll be on the bench because of the travel element. However, I do think he'll come on with about 25 minutes to go and he'll get involved in something. So I got Estevao. I've got Danny Welbeck because Brighton are at home and he's been in phenomenal form, goal or assist. I got Ismail Assar with Palace. They are away against Wolves, and Wolves have just coughed up way too many chances this season.
He seems to have been that guy as well when they've done something.
He's been very good. And then I round out with Matheus Cunha, United versus Everton, Old Trafford. I think we're starting to see the best of him. I think it was the Mbeumo show early on. I think we're just starting to see.
I drift away those bets. You know what annoys me about it? If you get the 3 up on the Saturday and you're waiting till the Monday night for the 4th one, that kills me. What I normally do there when I'm doing them is I'll do a treble.
Cash out.
I'll do a treble and then I'll do the 4 as well, just to see how it goes. So,
well, that's my 20 to 1.
Nice.
And I also have another treble, and this is a result. I'm about to score a treble.
Okay. And
this pays 50 to 1 for the treble. So it's nice odds.
Great odds.
So I think Brighton will beat Brentford at home, and I think both teams will score.
Yeah.
Don't think that's a stretch.
No.
I think Palace will beat Wolves away, and I think both teams will score. Again,
Interesting.
not a massive stretch. And I'm rounding out with my own team on Monday night, and I think United will beat Everton, and both teams will score, and that's 50-1.
Again, you'll be insufferable on Sunday if you have to wait 2 days to get your bets.
I will.
But it also
gives me time to leverage my bets and go.
The cash out temptation will be unreal. I'll be getting blasted on WhatsApp with these cash out offers and stuff and all.
I got a good cash out offer a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't take it. And
dare I say it's against your religion
to take the cash out?
It's that fear.
It's a little bit of that.
Missing out.
It's a little bit of that, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't cash out, and of course the bet didn't come up, and I was like,
what was the cash out?
I was over 100.
And what was the full if you got it?
It was about 5. So it was like 20%, but it was a €10 bet. So I'm like, come on, it's a tenner, like, you know.
I think it's a 10 or a 10-1. That's how I look at that. If it's 100, that's how I do it. Now, it depends on what the fourth leg was, and you know how confident you felt about it.
Do you know what it was? It was 3 cards, and I got 2 cards up very quickly. Now, the one thing I will say about the card bets, when you do a card bet on Paddy Power, they play Super Sub. So even if your guy is taken off, you get whoever comes on in his place.
Yeah.
Let me look at it here. It was doodly-dee. So it was a Champions League bet. I had Rafael Onyedika for Bruges to get a card. I had Jesus Arezzo to get a card. He was and I know why I put the bet together. He was playing right back for Athletic Bilbao at Newcastle, up 1-on-1 against Anthony Gordon. And I'm like, this lad's going to get ripped a new one. And he did. Now, Gordon went off injured in the end, but the boy got booked first. And then my last one, the last part, was Enzo Berenchea. And it was Benfica versus Leverkusen. I think the game finished 1-1. And you know, in the dying minutes when everything is a bit ebb and flow, I'm like, this lad's an Argentinian. I ain't taking him out with 15 minutes to go. You know, he's primed for it. He played every minute.
Is that the one you were messaging me and he was definitely due a card? He had gotten away with a few, had he?
No, that was
how was this guy not booked yet?
That was a card bet as well.
Can't remember. It was a week or two ago, a couple of weeks back. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. It was, and again, I got 2 out of 3 on the card bet as well, and it was one of them. I know exactly who it was. It was. I think it was a Leeds player. I'm gonna say it was Anton Stash, but
I'm not too sure.
And there's 60-1 as well. That was from a couple of weeks ago. That was Chelsea Liverpool. That was 60-1, and Enzo didn't get the card. Remember?
That was the one, and he was kicking lumps out of lads.
It was the bet builder.
Yeah, he was kicking lumps out of lads, and he went in. Did he go in with a slightly high tackle as well?
He did everything, and he didn't get it. And I was like,
it was the Enzo one. Yeah, that's.
I had Enzo shot on target, one or more. Pedro Neto, like Bradley for a card, Enzo for a card, and Isaac goal or assist, and it rolled to Ekatike, and I was done up like a kipper again. But listen, we got one coming. There's something on the way, I reckon.
Absolutely. Right, folks, that's it. I will have a preview for Nottingham Forest coming out, and don't forget to support all the content that's going up there at the moment from the other panel guests on the wrestling side of things. They're absolutely doing stellar work there as well. We'll also take a look at Joshua and Jake Paul probably over the weekend as well, and you'll get reaction shows and all the rest of it. And we'll be back on Monday, of course. Yeah, myself and Mark with the Monday mashup. So until next time.
Mark might not be here on Monday night. They're playing, don't forget.
That's true. I never even thought of that.
You didn't preempt that, did you?
No, I didn't. Maybe when I was laying out these shows.
I hope he's not listening, and I've outed him in public.
Maybe, yeah. Just the one where he goes, goes with a terrible headache, and he's in a bar somewhere.
Missed the bus home. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, the bus was cancelled. Yeah, the bus was cancelled. We'll just see. But listen, until next time, folks, stay safe, enjoy your football at the weekend, and we'll talk.